Hi friends, in today's video I'm going to take you through a day of what we eat as a family which has food allergies. So this morning it's pretty early and I'm getting started on some almond milk. I had these almonds soaking overnight and I'm going to blend them with some filtered water to make some almond milk, which my boys then really enjoy as a banana smoothie. Almond milk is very easy to make. You just blend soaked almonds and filtered water together for about a minute and then strain through a cheesecloth. I'm measuring out these soaked almonds and then I'm going to put twice the volume of water. Now, I'm not usually up this early making this kind of thing. I would prefer to have made this the night before, but I hadn't had a chance to soak the almonds, so it wasn't ready to make the night before. So it is kind of early. I'm getting this done before anybody else is up and around. But my boys really enjoy these almond and banana smoothies in the morning, so I do like to have some almond milk ready for them. This finished almond milk will keep for about 3 days in the fridge. Now, credit where credit's due, this recipe actually came from my son who's 10. He loves to make this in the morning. So there are 2 bananas in there, a teaspoon of honey, and then I will fill up that container till it says 500 milliliters. So it's not actually 500 milliliters of almond milk, but with the bananas it'll come up to 500 milliliters. Now, while my small boys really enjoy these smoothies, the rest of us prefer to have water or tea in the morning, sometimes some fruit juice too. But we keep it pretty simple for breakfast. Everybody kind of makes their own thing, whatever they fancy, usually some eggs or some bread. If I've made banana bread, somebody will probably have that. We also have yogurt or granola. One thing that my little boys have every day is scrambled eggs, and that's their absolute favourite. I like to use pork fat to fry them since they can't eat butter, and I usually do 3 eggs for both of them just so that they have a little bit of protein in their breakfast in the morning. With that nourishing smoothie and those delicious eggs, they usually don't want anything else to eat and they go to school with a full tummy. I'm adding a little bit of pate for some extra nutrition, and that's their breakfast. My favourite thing to eat in the morning at the moment is toasted sourdough bread with salted butter and some delicious cheese from my husband's home county, which we can now find at Costco, which is amazing. This bread was a little bit overdone, but it still tasted really good toasted. For me, breakfast has to be easy and quick. We don't have a lot of time in the morning. Everybody's usually out of the house by about 8:15, so it has to be quick. I don't like doing a lot of cooking, although I will cook up some eggs for my boys, as you saw. But for the rest of us, it's just really whatever is at hand and is easy to make. In France, a lot of people tend to have sweet breakfasts, and I do try and avoid that. I prefer to have fruit and yogurt and nuts or granola that I've made myself that's not too sweet, or else this bread and cheese is really good too. Now, since it's a Wednesday, everybody is home for lunch except for my daughter, who's at work today. So I'm making something that I often make on a Wednesday. It's avocado toast. So for my boys that have allergies, they won't be having the toast, they'll be having rice instead. For me and my son, I'm cutting up some of that delicious sourdough bread, which I'm going to toast. And then I'm going to poach some eggs, and I'll tell you about that in just a minute. This is my favourite method for poaching eggs, and it's almost no fail. Basically what you need to do is bring a shallow pan of water to the boil, add a good tablespoon of vinegar, turn the heat off, and then add your eggs. So I do up to about 6 eggs in this pan at one time. Then you cover it up and leave it for 5 minutes without the heat on, and it will just cook in that residual heat. It works absolutely perfectly, and I get a delicious runny yolk every time. While the eggs are cooking, I'm going to warm up some rice with a little bit of soy sauce and some leftover chicken that I had in the fridge, and that will be for the 2 little ones. I add a little bit of hot water just to help the rice to break up and to warm through better, and that's it. It'll just cook for less than 5 minutes until it's nice and warm, and I drizzle a little bit of soy sauce, and then I will serve that with the poached egg on the top. Now I'm preparing the avocado that will go on top of the toast, just slicing that up carefully, and I will top that with a poached egg afterwards. Sometimes I like to put a little bit of balsamic vinegar or another dressing on top. Today I'm just serving it, the avocado and the egg, on the toast. You can also drizzle your toast with a little bit of olive oil if you like, or even butter. It's up to you. I like to serve this with a little bit of sauerkraut too for extra nutrition and flavour. Now, going back to these poached eggs, the best way to get them out of the pan is with a mesh spoon, and then I like to drain them off carefully on a tea towel while they're still on the spoon, so that there's no water making the bread soggy on the avocado toast. So there you have it, a very simple lunch that was incredibly delicious, very nutritious, and easy to make. Now we're on to the evening meal, and I'm going to make a tray bake, which is something that I do very regularly because I absolutely love roasted vegetables. So here I'm cutting up onions, courgettes, peppers. I'm going to cut them up quite small, put them on a baking tray and top them with some chicken drumsticks, which I'm then going to drizzle with oil and salt and bake in the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes, depending on how big the chicken pieces are. This is a really good meal to make if you've got lots of bits of vegetables hanging around in the bottom of your fridge. I like to empty my fridge by doing this kind of meal occasionally. I also really like to roast meat. I think that brings out so much flavour when it's cooked in the oven like this. So all in all, it's a really delicious and easy meal to make. I like to make sure my vegetables are all nice and mixed up on the baking tray so that they're evenly distributed. And now I'm placing on these chicken drumsticks. They're quite small, so I think it cooked for only about 30 minutes. They was even maybe a little bit overcooked. So just keep an eye on them and test the internal temperature if you're not sure. Now before this goes into the oven, I'm drizzling on plenty of olive oil. I'm going to be sprinkling on some herbs and spices. So today I'm using garlic granules because I didn't have any raw garlic, which I usually would use in this recipe. I'm also adding some herbe de Provence and some parsley, and of course plenty of salt, which will bring out all of those delicious flavours. Now, as I was saying earlier, the thing that I usually modify when I'm cooking for my boys that have food allergies are the accompaniments. So at lunchtime, instead of making them toast, I made some rice. I just warmed up some leftover rice. And this evening, I decided to serve this with pasta. So they can't eat pasta, obviously, at the moment. But I had a spaghetti squash left over from the autumn, so I decided to roast that and serve that instead of the pasta. Now, I had a lot of trouble cutting into this spaghetti squash. I don't know if it was because it was a bit old or if I'm just not strong enough to deal with spaghetti squash. I don't know. I managed to get it open. I'm drizzling it with olive oil and sprinkling on salt and pepper, and that baked in the oven. It was probably at least an hour, I think even longer than that. So now I'm preparing the pasta. I love spaghetti, so we're having spaghetti tonight. And I found some pesto that I made in the summer in the freezer. So I've got out a packet of that and we're adding that to the pasta before serving. It was such a delicious meal. It almost felt like summer already with the beautiful sunshine outside. It was just what we needed. I hope I gave you some ideas of what you might be able to make for your family, how you can make adjustments if you're dealing with food allergies too. This used to be a real struggle for me, but now it comes as second nature to pull out something different for the boys that they can eat and enjoy. If you're dealing with food allergies, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Let me know how you deal with it. Do you make separate meals for everybody, or do you try and make the same thing for the whole family, or do you do what I do and a little bit of both? The main part of the meal the same for everybody and just the accompaniment different. Let me know in the comments below. Well, it's the end of a very long day and we had a delicious meal to finish it off with. I hope you're enjoying something delicious today too. Let me know what you're eating in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I make videos like this every week on homemade food from scratch, allergy-friendly meal ideas and plenty of sourdough. I'll see you next time. Bye!